and a lot of teaching points as well. But this question comes to us from Armando, sent to us via jimbopodcast21@gmail.com. And Armando writes, "Hey, Jim, I have a couple of questions for Jake. One, do you think rhythm with the feet at the plate before a stride is good, and why? In Jake's clinics, we've talked about rhythm with hands and bat, but I can't remember about the feet. Number two, this is a two-part question here. Number two, as an instructor, what do you think?" And Jake, you instructor, not Jim. "What do you think about us going to students' games? I go sometimes to show that I care, but sometimes I feel like I give them more stress, which leads to lesser results. Thank you, fellas. Appreciate all you do." And that is from Armando. He says, from the land of beer and cheese. I'm assuming Milwaukee or Green Bay, probably Milwaukee. Armando, thank you. My condolences on Aaron Rodgers, although Jordan Love, I think, is a very good quarterback. Good arm strength there on Jordan Love. Armando, great question. Thank you very much. Sent to us via jimbopodcast21@gmail.com. Could I just add something to this, by the way, really
Sure,
quick?
Jim. Yeah, it's not
When
like it's his own personal property and thoughts that he just wrote you. Go ahead and change it.
So, yeah. So the second part of the question about showing up to games, leading to stress and whatnot. Second part of that question. It's easy for instructors now to see players play, a lot more easier than it was, say, when I was like playing,
Yeah.
which wasn't all that too long ago, because you can watch on these apps and all of these new type websites. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, if you're not in person watching, then you could still be watching digitally. Anyway, go ahead.
So let's start with going to players' games.
Okay.
It's a great
Yeah.
idea. Well, I did it last week with some of the high school players. I worked all winter, all fall, winter, spring during the season here. Now they're in the playoffs, so I want to see them play. But putting that external pressure also is not cool either. They're trying to do well for you,
Yeah.
and there's no need for that as a coach. I don't care if you don't try to please me. I want you to please yourself. Go out there and perform for yourself so you feel good about yourself if you enjoy this game. But it's a lot of times I'll kind of hide. I'll be there. I'll roll up late and I'll try to hide. I try not to be there for pregame unless I'm looking at other things. If I want to see how they move, sometimes if it's a player that I'm just starting to work with, I want to see what kind of athlete they are. I want to see how they throw the ball from the outfield. I want to see how they run. Or if they're infielders, I just want to see how they move, because a lot of times how they move in the field dictates how they move in the batter's box. Maybe we shouldn't have this kind of leg kick. If a kid really likes a leg kick, but I watch him run around the outfield and I'm like, he doesn't have good feet, doesn't have good balance. He does, he's not smooth like that. We probably shouldn't have that.
Right.
So a lot of times I want to see what kind of athlete that are, but if it's a player that I've known for a fairly long time, then what I'll do is I'll just kind of roll up late. I'll watch their first couple of bats. Hopefully it's a double header. Those are the best, because then I can talk to them between games. I'll show my face essentially after the first game when they're walking around, and then we can chat about it. And then I'll ask them, hey, do you care that I'm here? Do you want me to check out your at bats? And most of the time they're like, yeah, absolutely. If it's a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, I probably am not going to make myself known. Maybe I'll use a lot of game changer video that their parents can send me. That's what
Mhm.
you were kind of alluding to with the new
Right.
technology. Game changer pretty much streams all the games for most teams, and a lot of people pay that monthly fee to to have video clips, so I can see how they move at least in games. I can see pitch selection in games. I can see, are they swinging early in the count? Are they aggressive? Are they not aggressive? Then they get to two strikes and they're just trying to fight stuff off. So there's a lot that goes into at bats that I can see. I can't really see mechanics, but at least I can see their approach, and maybe if they're striding the wrong way. I had a player recently and I try to stress them out. Once our mechanics are pretty good, once we get everything buttoned up mechanically, then it's about changing speeds and increasing stress and putting a competition in there off a machine that's thrown a little bit harder than normal or a little bit slower than normal, or I'll make it have a higher spin rate or a lower spin rate just so it's not comfortable. I want to make them uncomfortable. And if I don't see them freak out, I'm feeling pretty good. And then all of a sudden I get a video and they're bailing out on every pitch, right? They're pulling out with their stride, they're striding late. And then I'm like, oh, that's not even the same kid. So then we have to have like a mental change. We have to, talk about relaxation and what are we focusing on when we're in the box. Maybe we have to overdo diving into the plate for a little while to make sure they aren't stepping out. So going to games is really great. Plus, it shows the kid that you care, right? This guy really, he's vested in me. I spend a lot of time with these kids and we create nice relationships, which is another pillar of being a successful hitting coach.
Oh, very
But
good, man. You are just a fuck. You are look. Here we are. We started. Somebody asked me this the other day. When did you start the first podcast meeting the lab? And I said April of 2020. Right.
yeah,
And
COVID.
we've come a long way. And look at you now. You're easily segueing like it's nothing. Go ahead. I'm proud of
Yeah, no, it's just it shows you care, and it shows the parents that you care too. You're not just a lot of the high school guys, I don't even know their parents. So I show up at a game and the kids know who I am, but the parents know who I am for my voice. Like I had a guy come up the other day, he's like, "Oh, you must be Jake because I was talking to somebody else."